Today I'm going to be breaking down a song called Godskin's Apostles from the Elden Ring original soundtrack. This is a coffee personal request that comes from Justin Michael Hammond. So thank you, mate, for your incredible support. And boom. It did like a fake build-up before. It's probably going to do the real build-up right now. This one. Oh! She baited. It released all the tension there. Okay, yeah, it's adding more energy. It has increased the energy drastically since that. Isolated vocals section. The power of the silence. That was cool. That brass arrangement was really cool. Ah! Listen to those chord progressions. Well, more than chord progressions were chord accents, to be fair. Yeah, always going to the higher register is going to... Yeah, that's quite a definite resolution right there. All right, well, let's break it down. I think Godskin Apostles is a very surprising song because I've always thought of Elden Ring as being as a sort of a spiritual successor to Dark Souls. However, this particular song is not so much inspired or being in the template of what a Dark Souls song is, but it's way more inspired by what I've heard from Bloodborne. And I'm going to explain why that is in a forward section. But of course it has quintessential elements that both universes have, the Dark Souls and the Bloodborne, and they merge together to bring this song into Elden Ring, because as far as all the other songs that I've heard, you know, it's very common to hear the choirs being a the leading element of the whole composition, or as I call it often, the spearhead of the whole thing. The string section and the brass section is relegated more for support purposes, like doing counter melodies, decorations of beautification elements, accents, carrying the motion of the chord progressions and whatnot. And it also has this very common practice, not only in Dark Souls, Bloodborne, or even Elden Ring, but compositions in general of this kind, in which you always use the higher register in the choirs to raise the tension and the energy of the song significantly. Now this is where I want to get more into the very specifics of the song, because another attribute that this song has as a whole is that it has two phases. Like, it's very clear that the song has one phase and then another starts, and they don't really sort of blend together. They are sort of really separated, sections that you can hear. Now, obviously, let's open with phase 1, which is the one I think has the more Bloodborne, leaked into it. It bleeds. The Bloodborne thing is bleeding so much into it because, it has the waltz thing going on. It has the dancey thing going on again. And this is something that is not so much into, Dark Souls soundtracks. Is bleeding more into this track than Dark Souls itself, because it has the 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. It's very dancey, at least the first phase of it. I was saying too that this particular phase has a contrast to the other one because it's more tamed in the execution of the instruments. It's not so much of a wall of sound as a contrast to the second phase, which I'm going to be talking about later, obviously. But it's more about fake build-ups or build-ups that are almost unperceivable, It kind of tricked me in different parts, because there's a part where you hear the isolated choirs with, I think, sort of a French horn way in the back, very subtle, which I particularly... I think that's probably my favorite part of the song. I'm not kidding. Releasing all the tension and all the energy of the song, and then it builds super fast again. But then that final section of the song has like a very long build up that adds elements or accents or layers in a very, very meticulous way, so it's almost unperceivable that you think that it's going to be a build-up or not, because at the end of that section we have basically the resolution of the first phase, which is unresolved because the second phase comes, but it's just this flat-lined sort of arrangement that we hear in the choirs. Now let's talk about the second phase. And the second phase has a couple of attributes that make it so much different towards the first part. The main one I would say is that it is in a higher tempo, like the song gets faster. And by being in a higher tempo, like it gives the listener the feeling, you know, or the atmosphere that the stakes are higher. And it makes sense, because if this is a boss battle, you fought through the first phase, the second phase often is more difficult, you know, in terms of you know, gameplay design and whatnot. However, that's not the only case, because the song becomes more of a wall of sound, like I was saying before, because it becomes more about all the sections of the orchestra becoming more involved in the song. So there's not a lot of variations in terms of the tension of a song or the energy as much as the first phase. And of course, in the second phase, we have a definitive resolution to the song. The song actually has like an ending story, you know. The ending part of the song is telling you that there's nothing after that, you know. That's the end of that particular story, or that contained boss battle, if you will. That's one thing, but the other thing is, like I mentioned before, there's again this common practice of using the highest, going to a higher register in the choirs, and not particularly the choirs, because in this particular part you have like a very cool layering in between a solo female voice on the higher register, like on the top, and then I think in the lower octave you have the choirs actually doing a sort of a chord progression in there towards, you know, the end of a song. So it ends on a very big amount of energy, and then it kind of dissolves into the final part. I'm gonna give this song a C tier. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, check out this other Elden Ring breakdown that I did. And if you would like to support my work further, you can check the support section in the description of this video, where you can find my Patreon and all the other links, alright? Thank you very much.